Chidinma debunks controversies during her interview with Punch, and Ataga's family released a statement asking people to allow them to grieve in peace, most especially to bloggers who are carrying fake news. Otherwise, they will face lawsuit. Yes, fake news and fake stories. Hi guys, you're watching Chiki series. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your support. I quite appreciate that. It's good to have you around again. And if you're new to this channel, thank you for clicking on this video. Make yourself comfortable as we get right into the gist. Also hit that red subscribe button, that way you get our latest update. So, as the story of the CEO of Super TV, Yusufo Ataga, and his side chick Chidinma Ojukwu continue to gather momentum, a lot of reports are flying online. Like I said, this is going to be an never-ending story. There are so many things involved in this, and each day passes with one report or even 20 reports. Like the report I shared yesterday about the wife's hand being involved in the man's issue allegedly. But the thing is that the narrative does not add up. There are some missing links there that I couldn't connect the dots. Then another report I saw is about this man, this Bayelsa man, Timi Alaibe, businessman and politician. Reports had it that the woman has become community mistress for NNPC bosses, and she has something to do with this man from Bayelsa. And this man quickly responded to people that published the news, saying that he does not know this woman called Mrs. Brenda Taga, and is a lie from pit of hell trying to link him with her. That was how he put it. He said that when he initially saw the story, he did not want to give any energy, single energy to it. He only felt that these people, they want to write nonsense again. He didn't pay attention till people started calling him all over the country and was asking him, what do you have to do with this woman? So he quickly decided to come out and debunk this news so that everybody will hear of it. So which made the family has decided to come up with a statement saying that the public should let them grieve in peace, because all these reports are publishing, the children will get up tomorrow and read them, which is not too good for their family and the children. So that anybody, bloggers that are involved in publishing fake news or false news, that they are going to come up with lawsuits against those blogs. And they went further to say that this past week and a half has been the worst period of their lives. The letter is signed by Dr. Isi Atega for the family. This lady on Facebook made a post saying that Chidinma and a couple of people run a business of blackmailing married men, and seems that this one went wrong, that people should not look at her age before they do anything, that the lady has been into this business, so to speak, allegedly. People do not pay attention to it because of the way she looks. People don't take her to be a bad person. And Ataga's family also believe that there is more to the story, apart from the confession that she made, that there is more to the story, that they are begging police to help them unravel what happened behind this confession that she made. But it didn't stop there. She also begged them for forgiveness, that she's sorry for having deleted their brother. I'm like, who does that? You delete somebody and you're asking for forgiveness. The person might forgive you, but you need to face the charges. That you are begging doesn't mean that your charges will fizzle out. After all, you should know the consequences of what you've done. You are 21. You are old enough to know that what you did has consequences, so you can't run out of it. In that video also, she debunked some controversies, some of these issues around her, some hidden things that people don't know around her, because she said in that video that the video that is circulating all over social media of somebody smoking, that she's the one, that she started smoking when she entered Unilag because of her friends, and they were the ones that introduced her to smoking. So she accepted that one. Then the another picture of the lady with big ikebe, she said that one, she's not the one. She also went further to say that the father and the mother got separated when she was 2, that she grew up in the uncle's place, Uncle Chijoke Obi at Mushin, against what they wrote in that report, saying that she and her uncle Izu and the man's wife gang up to delete the man. She said that the uncle is Chijoke Obi, that she doesn't know of anybody that is called Izu. She also went further to say that she never met Usifo's wife before, that she doesn't know who the wife is. When the incident happened, that she did not reach out to anybody, that she only picked the knife, change her clothes and leave the building, that she did not call anybody. Based on the report that is circulating now, that she called Izu, they came and ransacked the whole place and then now allow her to go. One thing I have against her is that her story is not straight. If you listen to her very well and pay attention, you see that there are some missing links. There are things there that are not connecting. That's the problem I have with her story. And again, I believe that she did not carry out this job alone. She did not execute this job alone. There are other people who helped her to execute this job, and from all indication, I don't know, that's what I feel. Maybe there are none, because she has not mentioned the name of anybody. She keeps saying that she's the one who did it, that she's pleading for forgiveness, blah 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 blah. Now, she spoke about the parents' separation when she was age 2. That means she didn't get any parental guidance. She didn't have any proper guidance when she was growing up, because she was staying with the uncle. She might be out of reach from the father, in as much as she said that the father paid her school fees, and there were at times the school fees were not there. It was a struggle to pay her school fees. So when you look at her, you see that her demeanor is like somebody who is living on the street, somebody who practically hustles by herself, does things by herself, find a way to rake in money. Some of these parents, when they're not able to make that money, they leave their children to make money for them. They close their eyes, they pretend as if nothing like that is happening. Some parents do that, and that's what you see. Some of these people that are training themselves in school, they do anything possible to get by. They do anything possible to make sure that they get money. And a lot of them, you see them going after men. Some of them practically do runs. They are corporate runs girls. They give their hostel number to all these people that connect them to top big men. When the man is in town, they will pick them after the man will drop money for them. That's what they do to support themselves in school. Some of these girls, because she said she started smoking when she has entered Unilag, so it's obvious it's through peer influence, and probably she lives with the uncle. The father pays the school fees. Probably the father did not have time to even ask what happens in her life. It's not enough to just pay school fees. It's also good for you to discuss with your children, know what they're up to. Because when they arrested her, the father said the father was trying to resist arrest, saying that the daughter cannot do that. Before she confessed, when she confessed, the man was shocked. But I don't believe that the man doesn't know what is happening in the life of the child. I don't. I feel the man just wanted to protect her by trying to stop the policeman. That's what I feel, although she's saying otherwise. When they asked her whether Yusufo takes Morocco, because that other report said that Yusufo was not taking drugs, he said that he did. The man they're talking about in question is already gone. Even if it's a lie that she's talking about, who will counter it? There's nobody that will counter it. The man is already gone and he cannot talk. Somebody who is in the grave does not talk. And according to her, she did not reach out to anybody when the incident happened. So the thing is that Chidinma, there was one ID card they caught her with, something Johnson, Mary Johnson, with her ID photo, but the ID bears another name. They caught her again with her with an international number. When they ask her, I say it's an app, and there's a way she used it. So all these things, she's just displaying all the attributes of this bad girl stuff. So that's the vibe I'm getting from her. Her face is deceitful. She has been into a lot of things. But let me let you guys watch the Punch interview and see what some of her responses there. She debunked some of the stories. There are some things she answered that gave an insight of who she is, of her background. But no matter the case, I still believe that there are some people that committed this with her. But I don't know why she's not mentioning their names. I don't just get it, because otherwise she'll be very happy to throw them under the box to also expose them, because right now it's her face that they know. When you talk about Yusuf Ataga's issue, her face comes up. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm gonna sign off here. Stay healthy and safe. Remember to share this video with family and friends if you love it, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done already. And I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video. Bye and remain blessed.
I didn't plan on killing anybody or kill him. It was just to get money from him. I totally regretted everything I did.